The sooner you give Margaret the sweater, the sooner she'll quit school and be with you. The two of you will be happy forever.
This is Margaret's sweater, and it comes to life to convince Mordecai to go see her. A sweater, coming to life and talking to him. And somehow, it's one of the most realistic depictions of heartbreak I've ever seen. Because if you put the absurdity aside and look at what it's actually showing you, you realize the whole episode is just a metaphor, and every scene is just the mind and the heart fighting for the driver's seat. And if you watch carefully till the end, you'll notice that we all do what Mordecai does in this same situation. Sometimes knowingly, sometimes not. But we've all been there. And we all start like Mordecai at the beginning of the episode. He's depressed. Right before this episode, he finally asked Margaret to be his girlfriend, and instead of getting the future he imagined, she tells him she got accepted into her dream school and has to leave. There wasn't a betrayal or a fight. It was just life making things hard. Sometimes the right person arrives at the wrong time. And when Margaret leaves, Mordecai falls apart. He stays in bed, loses all his energy, starts seeing reminders of her everywhere he goes. And the thing that frustrates him most is that he can't seem to move on. But slowly, with the help of his friends, he starts getting back on his feet. He shaves, goes to gym, and slowly he becomes his old self again. Then, while doing laundry with Rigby, he finds a sweater that doesn't belong to them. And suddenly, everything comes back. And the bad part is that sometimes that's all it takes. Months of progress can disappear in a second because one tiny thing opens a door you thought you had already closed. The memories come back, the regrets, the anger, the questions about what could have been. And the dangerous thing is that it usually happens when your guard is down, when you aren't expecting it, when you're finally starting to feel okay again. Up until this point, the episode is about Mordecai. But right here, something changes. The story stops being about a breakup. It becomes about a conflict every person understands. Heart versus mind. And from this moment on, every character in the episode starts representing something. Every scene becomes a piece of an argument happening inside Mordecai's head. Two sides of him are fighting for the driver's seat. And Rigby is the first one to recognize it. Because Rigby is representing the voice of reason. The moment he sees Mordecai holding that sweater, he immediately understands where this is going.
Sweater? Oh no. Don't do anything you're gonna regret. Don't do it!
Mordecai picks up the sweater. He hasn't said anything yet, but Rigby's already panicking. The mind doesn't wait for an explanation. It sees the whole road from here to her doorstep, but the heart isn't listening. It already started its story. The reality is the sweater got mixed in with the laundry. That's the only thing that happened. But for Mordecai, it's a sign. This is the heart's first lie. And it never says, I want her back. That's too easy to refuse. Instead, it builds a case. It collects evidence. It makes the whole thing feel like the universe is asking him to do this. You can argue with a feeling. You can't argue with the universe. So Rigby argues the facts instead. He says girls keep clothes lying around. It's not even cold out. There's no reason to return it. And every word he says is correct. So the heart knows it can't win on the facts. So it moves the questions like, what if it's her favorite? Now it's not about the weather, it's about her. He keeps finding reasons to go see her. Small ones, reasonable ones. But he can't get Rigby to drop it, so he compromises and says he'll just mail it. And that's the moment the door opens.
No, dude. I gotta give it back to her.
I don't know. I don't think that's such a good idea.
I'll just mail it.
From here, the heart starts steering every decision with one small excuse at a time until it gets what it wants. Probably even Mordecai believes he'll mail it. But mailing it gives him nothing. No drive over, no doorway, no her. The heart let him say, I'll mail it because it already knows he won't. It's a down payment to get Rigby off his back. And the request still looks innocent. He's just returning a sweater, now politely by mail. But follow that road to the end. He wants her back. He found the one version of that he's allowed to say out loud. And the proof is what happens next. Because mailing the sweater means one thing. He has to sit down and write her a letter to go with it. Just a few lines. Something to put in the box. And he can't do it. He just says he is not good at writing letters, but that's not the real reason. A letter ends it. A letter is a goodbye in an envelope. No door left open. No reason to ever see her again. The heart doesn't want him to find the words. The heart wants him in a car, at her door. Because face to face, anything can still happen. We all stared at that empty message before, and the truth is, there are no right words for something you don't want to say. So the mind takes over. Rigby boxes it up, writes the address himself, ships it, done. Problem solved in 30 seconds. And just seconds later, it comes back. On the surface, this is a joke about Rigby's bad handwriting. Mail Lady brings it back because she couldn't read Rigby's writing. But remember where this whole thing is happening. It's inside one head. The mind tried to send the goodbye out. The heart refused the delivery. Because you can't outsource letting go. You blocked them because your friend told you to, and you unblocked them a week later. The mind solutions are always correct. They just never hold, because the other half of you never agreed to it. And now, watch this part carefully, because this is the smartest move the heart makes in the whole episode.
Hey, where you going?
I'm just going to readdress this at the post office.
Wait, so you're gonna take this to the post office? Yourself? Mm-hmm. For real?
Yeah.
Mordecai doesn't argue. He doesn't say he's driving to her college. He doesn't fight Rigby on it at all. He just says fine, he'll redress it and take it to the post office himself. Then he borrows a car to go to the post office. 20 hours away. You see what just happened? The heart didn't fight the mind's plan. It agreed with it. It said, yes, mailing was the right idea, said it'll handle it, and then it took the wheel of that plan and quietly changed where it was going. This is the trick. The heart doesn't always argue with you. Sometimes it just smiles and takes over your sensible plan and drives it somewhere else. We all did a version of this. We told ourselves we were just returning their stuff. We told ourselves we were just calling about the deposit. The errand was real, but it was never the point. And Rigby got in the car, believing the cover story. Even the mind got tricked into coming along. Somewhere on that highway, Rigby figures out what's really happening, and he's done arguing. He grabs the sweater and throws it out the window. It's the biggest thing the mind does in the whole episode. The sweater is actually gone. And watch what the heart does about it.
You boys should really be more careful. I've seen too many good clothes lost to this highway, and this is one quality sweater. It's at least 50% cashmere. Plus, it smells really good. I'm glad I got a hold of it before it was too late. Here you go, sir. Take good care of this beauty.
Dude, I have to give the sweater to her now. This is a sign.
This is dumb! You can't drive 20 hours straight by yourself.
Well, I'm going to, because it's fate.
A cop picked her sweater up off the road, chased them down, and handed it back. Now think about that for a second. The odds of this actually happening in real life are zero. A sweater thrown from a moving car at full speed on a highway gets picked up by a passing officer who somehow connects it to them, chases them down, and returns it. It's not just unlikely, it's impossible. But inside this story, it happens. The mind tried to make it gone, and the heart did the only thing it had left. It took the slimmest possible version of getting that sweater back, the most ridiculous 1 in a million chance, and made him believe it happened. That's how desperate it gets. The heart will hold on to any chance, no matter how small. It doesn't care about probability, it cares about what it wants. And Mordecai explains it with fate, because that's what fate is. Fate is the word you reach for when something happens that shouldn't have happened. It's the heart's explanation for its own impossible productions. The cop is the trick. Fate is the label that makes the trick okay. And we all did this. We saw their name on someone else's post, and we called it a sign. We heard a voice on the street that sounded like theirs, and we called it a sign. We had a dream about them, and we called it a sign. They were coincidences, but we needed them to be signs. Because a sign gives you permission. So they keep driving, and Rigby keeps pushing. He won't stop. He keeps saying the truth out loud until he says the thing nobody wants to hear from their mind. And Mordecai snaps.
I said cut it out! Why are you so against me giving Margaret her sweater back?
'Cause it's not about the sweater, and you know it. You gotta forget about Margaret.
Dude, Margaret's important to me. I can't just forget her.
Okay, you don't have to forget her, but you have to get over her for real. Staying like this is messed up, and it's messing you up. I want my friend back.
Well, if you were a real friend, you'd understand.
I am your friend. You'd realize that if you weren't such a sad sack chump.
That's it.
He stops the car, and he kicks his best friend out. Think about what the heart needs to finish this trip. Arguments or compromises didn't silence Rigby, so the heart does the only thing it has left. It removes him, and pay attention to what happens next, because this whole drive, the sweater hasn't said a single word, and now it talks to him with her voice. The heart telling him the rational voice is the enemy. She tells him Rigby will only get in the way. The sweater needed Rigby gone before it could speak, and now its first job is making sure he stays gone. And there's the real promise. She doesn't tell him he'll feel better. She doesn't tell him he'll heal. She tells him she'll quit school. She'll give up the dream she left him for. This is where hope stops being hope, because real love wants something for the other person. This wants something from her. It wants her to pay for him to feel okay. And from inside, it sounds exactly like love. Same voice, same warmth, different direction. We heard this voice too. The imagined conversation where they finally apologize. The fantasy where they come back. We heard them say things they never said. That wasn't them. That was you doing the voice. And then Mordecai says the most important sentence in the episode.
The two of you will be happy forever.
That's not true. Margaret worked really hard to get into school. She wouldn't just quit.
For the first time in this whole story, Mordecai thought about her. Not the sweater, not the sign, not the reunion he's been directing in his head. Her dream, the actual reason she left. That's the first crack in the spell. And remember this thought, because it's coming back at the end and finishing the job. And look at how the sweater reacts to being contradicted. The whispering is over. It wraps around his arm and fights him for the wheel of the car. Because the disguise only works while you believe in it. The second you push back, the softest voice in your head shows you what it really is. and then they crash. And look at this image for a second. A grown man wrestling a sweater for control of a car on a highway. From outside, it's completely insane. That's what your war looked like from outside too. Everybody around you could see you were fighting nothing. You were the only one who couldn't see it. The night you finally fought back wasn't graceful either. It never is. And after all of that, he makes it. He's standing in front of her college, sweater in his hand. She is right there. And he stops. This is the moment the whole thing breaks. And think about what's breaking it. It's not an argument. Rigby didn't win a single argument in this whole episode. The mind lost every debate it entered. What finally breaks the spell is just him looking at her. She is happy. And the thought from the car, the crack, the one I told you to remember, comes back and finishes the job. She worked so hard for this. Giving her the sweater isn't returning something. It's asking her to give it all back. He still wants her. That part didn't die. But for the first time since he picked up that sweater, he's thinking about what she needs instead of what he wants. And remember the beginning. She didn't betray him. She chose her future. The heart could fight forever against an argument. It can't fight what he's looking at right now. Hope didn't save him. Seeing did. Now, the sweater is not talking. It was always just a sweater. And here's the thing. The episode never tells you whether the sweater really came alive or whether a heartbroken guy with no sleep hallucinated all of it. Only Mordecai ever saw it talk. It doesn't need to answer that. We already know, because ours talked too. Letting go was never going to be a heroic decision you force on yourself. It's just what's left, the second you finally look at what's real. A cartoon about a talking sweater, the most honest portrait of what your own mind does to you after heartbreak, and how it finally stops. If you made it this far, thank you. Every comment and every like means more than you think. I'll see you in the next one.